I know it may be difficult to look intelligent. I'll
Yeah.
give you that.
It's really hard for me, but I do try. With the screen being as small as it is, um, at least I look smaller than I actually am. I almost look as small as you when we
Good
do these
point.
podcasts.
So listen, good morning. And if I
Who
don't
won the
see
election, by the way? Who's the Democratic nominee for governor in Maine? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller?
well, do we know
We
who they
don't
vote?
know
I mean,
yet.
we know that Bobby is going to be the. How do you vote for somebody named Bobby? God.
I know. Yeah.
But how about Midgley? Is that his name,
Yeah, the
Midgley?
guy that looks like Beavis or Butthead.
Yeah, I don't know which one, but Linda, we were watching it, and Linda said, "Who's that goofy guy?" I said, "Well, not any
Yeah, I
goofier
mean, he's
looking."
not Ken Altshuler
No,
handsome,
but come
certainly,
on,
but
come on.
know,
Could you really vote for somebody who looks like that? I don't
I
think.
I would have, but I did not. I voted for Bobby Charles.
Well, he's your standard bearer, and he's going to
Yeah,
lose to anybody other than Troy Jackson. He'll probably lose to Troy Jackson too. Troy, but I don't see Troy getting it. I mean, is Hannah too far? My
I
prediction was Shaw would be in first place. I don't, but he's not very far ahead of
oh,
Hannah.
hey Ken, don't worry. Shenna Bellows is in charge of the elections here in Maine, so there will be no shenanigans. Don't worry about a thing.
She has removed herself from the case.
Horse fuck.
Come on, Mike. Do you see conspiracy? You
Ken, if she really meant it, she would have resigned as Secretary of State. You cannot run for public office
we've
and be
done
in
this.
charge of the elections.
She's not in charge of the
She's
elections.
the goddamn Secretary of State. She is.
Do you really think that? Then why didn't she win? Why did she get more votes?
All right, there's that, but still, you can't have any inference of propriety. You
Listen,
know that as
hold
well
on.
as I do.
Shaw
And if
would
it
not
were
be
a
in the lead.
Republican trying to do that, you would have been out front
I don't give it. Listen,
singing until the
bottom line is,
cows come home
would
about this.
Shaw have won? Would Shaw be in the lead if Shanna was screwing around with the votes? No. Now I mean, if Hannah wins and you would say there's a conspiracy, they're just like California, go ahead. What do I care? I don't care. I mean, I think Hannah, I hope Hannah's the nominee. I'm not a big fan of Shaw. I probably would vote for Rick Bennett just because. I certainly would vote for Rick Bennett if it was Troy Jackson, but he's out
Did
of it. I
you
think.
have you been following? I know you don't, but our old radio friend Ray Richardson has taken a solemn vow that he will not vote for Bobby Charles.
Do we know why?
Ray's being a real dink about this
Do we know
because
why?
I guess his guy was David Jones, I guess.
Who got
Um,
3% of the vote?
but he won't vote for Bobby Charles, and there are a lot of no Bobby Charles people who I guess want Rick Bennett. But I don't understand it. Bobby Charles. I voted for him because I think he has the best chance to win, and I think he's the kind of candidate whose message is very clear and basic and simple, and I think it resonates with people, and I think it will. That's why I voted for him. The others get way too deep in the weeds for me, and I wasn't that impressed by them. But Ray says he's not going to vote for Bobby. It's like, what are you doing here?
Well,
What? How could you
David
possibly?
Jones I mean, he's a MAGA. He's an extreme MAGA
Yeah.
candidate. Although so was Mason. Well, Garrett Mason was not really
Oh,
MAGA, but
but he totally tied himself to
oh,
Trump.
no doubt about it. Which I don't think was a good strategy for him. I don't think
Which
Bobby Charles did that, did he?
Oh, absolutely,
All right. Well, that's the way to get nominated,
absolutely.
I
So
suppose.
anyway, I mean, we all, I think, Democrats are going to vote for the Democratic nominee for governor. There aren't going to be many people who are going to stray away from that. Republicans have to do the same and get behind Charles because Bennett can be a factor in this race.
He can, but don't you
He's
think? Why? So I don't think he'll take as many Democratic votes. Depending, I mean, Troy Jackson. I would not vote for Troy. I will not vote for Troy Jackson if he's the nominee. Won't do it. I'll vote for Rick Bennett. And Rick Bennett's quirky. He's still a conservative. I mean, he's not. He's not a moderate. He's certainly not leaning to the left. But I listen. Here's the same thing, and this is the same thing with Platner. And I've been having a lot of fights with a lot of people because I didn't vote in the primary. I
I
didn't
did.
vote for Janet as a protest. I didn't vote for Platner. And at this point, I am not planning on voting for a Senate candidate. I can't vote for Susan Collins because I now believe strongly in term limits, even though she's put billions of dollars in the Kavanaugh vote and all that stuff. But I just can't vote for Platner. I just He's not qualified to be a U.S. senator.
Well, I think you need to qualify what you say when you say qualify. I'm not one of these people who says you've got to have political experience
No,
to,
no, no, no,
but
no,
you
no.
mean qualify and from the character
He
standpoint.
has, that's right,
Now,
character.
Ken, I'm going to
Yes.
quote our good friend, our mutual good friend, Robert Baldacci, who on a Facebook post the other day said, look, we're not electing a rabbi or a priest here.
Yes. I saw your comment to that too. Look, listen, this is what I'm saying, and I'm saying this to you. If you're a Democrat and you criticize Donald Trump and say he should not be president because he is corrupt and immoral and unethical, how do you defend Graham Platner? You can't. It's hypocrisy. But I'm going to say to you, you voted for Donald Trump. It's very hard for you to criticize Graham Platner when you voted for Donald Trump, who I think is far worse than Graham Platner. Maybe there's more that's going to come out of Graham Platner. I don't really
Yeah,
care.
there is. There's Ken. I know for a fact there's
I'm
a lot
sure
more.
there
There's
is.
stuff already come out today. There's another woman who's come out today, and
And
there's
I
gonna.
think I think if stuff comes out about text sexting and stuff like that, I don't think that's the issue. But if there's physical assault on women, that will cook him. I mean, I'm going to say right now, and I said this, and I got really people angry at me. I think Susan Collins will beat him today. If the election was today,
So do I.
I think that, and it's not because I think that women who are angry at Susan will vote for her. I think people will stay home and not vote. Like me, I think what's going to happen is you're going to have Democrats who say, can't pull the trigger on this one. I'm not voting. I'm not going to vote for Susan, but I'm not voting for Platner. And if they don't show up to vote for Platner, Susan will win. That's it. And right now, if I had to pick a winner today, Sarah Gideon ran a bad campaign, but she wasn't she was not a bad candidate, and she got shellacked in a year that the Republicans did not do well.
Right, and I saw just before we came on, I saw a post from Kavanaugh. I mean not from Kavanaugh, but from Platner about Kavanaugh on either Facebook or Twitter or someplace. And look, we are in the next election cycle from Kavanaugh. All right. They used this 6 years ago.
Yeah,
Sarah Gideon did against Collins. This
I know.
this is old news by now, and people can't hear it. It's like it's white noise at this point in time. You're not going to be able to win an election throwing out there. And oh, here's another one that Plattner's coming out with every day. Every day they post Susan Collins is corrupt, and it's 145 days till we take her down. Um, could we look in the mirror, please, Mr. Platner?
Well,
You say Susan Collins is corrupt?
I'm
Please,
not sure I would
some
use
facts would
corrupt,
help.
but I'm not sure.
That's all they say.
Yeah,
Susan
first of
Collins is
all,
corrupt. 145 days until she's removed from office.
I don't find Susan Collins corrupt. I don't. I think she's a moral, ethical person. I really do. I do think the Senate is important for confirmation of judicial nominations, and Donald Trump has nominated people. I know Susan Collins is consistent about to the victor goes the spoils. He has nominated people who are simply not qualified to be judges. People who it's kind of he nominates people who contribute to his campaign. It doesn't care if they have any
Yeah,
judicial.
like Katani Jackson, she
Well,
certainly wasn't qualified to be.
she was
She couldn't
qualified.
even define a woman when
She
she was
was
asked.
qualified to be a judge, and so was
Judge
Kavanaugh.
Judge
I'm not
Jackson,
saying
can you define a woman?
she was qualified. She's
She's
a
a fucking idiot, Ken.
she's a brilliant jurist, and she deserved to be in Supreme Court. Kavanaugh was qualified. Gorsuch was qualified. Conan Barrett was qualified. They're conservative. I'd rather have liberals on the court, but they're qualified. However, I got to tell you that with no doubt about it, so that's what the Senate's about. And so I don't mind voting against somebody.
So are we voting for a rabbi and a priest here? Does that matter? I mean,
Well, if they
you've
walk
made
into
it
a
very
bar, if
clear.
they walk in a
You've
bar together,
you've made it very clear that this is an issue for you, which is the reason
that's
pretty
correct.
much that you're not going to vote for Plattner.
That's correct.
But I am amazed at the tap dance that people on the Democratic side are doing to support Graham Platner. We are literally talking
I
about a
agree.
guy who had a Nazi tattoo for the better part of 20 years. We can get into the weeds if you want to about what he knew, when he knew it.
I don't care about any of that. I
You'd
agree
have to
with
be
you.
a complete asswipe to not
I
know what that meant.
I agree with you. But I'm saying that Republicans who criticize Platner and defend Donald Trump are no better. I'm sorry, they're
No,
just not.
I understand why you say that. I don't think Donald Trump is a Nazi. I'm sorry, and I
Oh,
don't
I
think
think
he's
he's a
a
white
white supremacist.
supremacist. I
I don't think
absolutely
he's a
do.
white supremacist at
Oh my
all.
God, look at what he said doing Charlottesville.
Get that again. That was taken out of context. Read the whole context of what
There's
he said.
good people on both sides.
Right. He expanded on that. So
Donald Trump believes in a white male Christian society, just like Hegseth does. Listen, he's not he is absolutely a white supremacist, and but that's not. Listen, if that was the worst, I'd be happy. He sells pardons. He appoints people who have no business being appointed. Hegseth could be the least qualified person to ever run the Department of Defense or War, whichever you want to call it,
oh,
except for Bobby Kennedy.
you are so way off on
He's
that.
a Fox commentator.
Ken, do you realize what his military background is and his
Listen,
educational
so
background
do you
is?
agree with him not advancing blacks or women because he's not going to show any favoritism? He's absolutely he said we need
Ken,
to return to white Christianity. He has said that, Mike. He has
I
said that.
can a return to Christianity. I can see a return to white Christianity. I can't see.
He is listen.
All right,
He's not.
you're going off the deep end, and
Okay,
I
so
want to reel you
let's
back
get
in
back to the
before you fall off because I want to look at some of the rest of the things here, like the second CD where our good friend Robert Baldacci's kid brother Joe, who some people think is John, I was shocked, and I am shocked at how narrow his lead is here, and I'm shocked that Jordan Wood finished, or looks like he's going to finish second.
I was very shocked that it was so close. I didn't think he'd necessarily win it on the first ballot, but I thought he'd be 45,
Yeah,
40 maybe. And I
Matt
agree with
Dunlap,
you.
very disappointing showing. He right now he's running third in this race.
Well, he's a progressive in the second district. You know,
And here's the thing: he wasn't a progressive at one time. He hasn't always been a progressive. He's a newfangled progressive because he thinks that's the way he needs to go. So, what do we call Joe Baldacci? I think Joe Baldacci is in the progressive category,
oh, absolutely.
even though people who might think they're voting for John might think he's not a progressive,
Oh
but
no,
he's very
everybody thinks he's
progressive.
voting. Everybody thinks they're voting for John until he opens his mouth, and you understand that he's not only his younger brother, he's an idiot. Which is not a good combination.
I want our good friend Rob Baldacci to be very
Oh,
clear on who
sorry.
called Joe an idiot.
Yeah, they're gonna be pretty upset at me about that. So Matt Dunlap was a joke. Should not have been there. But it doesn't matter because the page is gonna wipe the floor with them.
I think I know, and I'm Paul LePage is going to be our congressman for the second congressional district, which I'm very happy about.
Well,
But I'm
but
just
it doesn't matter, frankly. He's one of
I'm just so amazed that Paul wanted to
yeah,
be in
I
Congress
agree. I
because
agree.
I've often said this, and I think I've said it to his face. Nobody's more ill-suited to be one of
Why
435.
does he want to do this? Does he not have better things to do with his life?
Apparently, he wants to do it.
All
I
right, I
don't
want to
know.
get
I
back.
would agree. At this golden state of his life, I would think he'd want to just kick back
Yeah,
and enjoy it.
with the huge pension governors get. So I want to go back to Platner a minute.
Yep.
Let's do what if. Let's say that allegations come out that are as serious and not more serious than we've already heard. That there's been some sexual assault. Let's say there's some sexual assault, although I would assume those would have already come out, but who knows? Something, I think any physical altercations. I mean, if you listen to AOC, I mean, and the governor from Michigan who said, I'm so tired of every week having to come on and defend some dude who sexually assaulted somebody. But, I mean, AOC's statement was pretty clear. I mean, she said, this is pretty disturbing. If the other shoe falls, the other shoe drops, they got to the 13th for him to withdraw from the race, which he won't do.
Right.
How do they force him out? Does the money dry up? And what happens if people say we're not giving you money anymore? And then you have the 20 till the 27th for replacement. I don't think that's going to happen. I would love to see somebody go up to Jared Golden and say, "We want you in this race," even as a write-in candidate. Frankly, I would do that. I'm
Would
serious.
he run against his former boss?
I
I
don't,
don't think so.
I
I
don't.
think he got out because he wanted to get out and he'd had enough, and he's got two very young children, and I don't think he's not the hope there. It's
So who?
Platner. You're gonna live and die with Platner if you're a Democrat. Now you've made your bed, you're gonna have to sleep in it.
I didn't make the bet. And
No, I
Platinum,
don't.
by the way, don't get me wrong, Platinum can win. He, I don't think he's
He
going
won't.
to. I
He
don't think
won't.
he's going to. It's going to be a close race.
There's no path to victory right now. I'm sorry.
Well, Susan's not going to win by 8% of the vote. And it really depends. We have, if nothing else comes out, listen, I will tell you, I listened to some of Platinum's speeches. The guy is a great public persona. I mean, he's a young Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is a pretty good public figure. I'm sorry, Mike. He is smart and he's articulate. I don't think he's got the character to be senator,
He's got
but
a stump speech, Ken, that's really good. And it's
he does.
just that.
But he doesn't. But he doesn't
I
use
want to
notes.
see him debate Susan Collins. That's what I'm
Well,
looking forward
he
to.
doesn't use notes. He's very good eye
Yep,
contact,
he's
very
got it
personal.
memorized. That's fine, which is
Okay,
fine. A
but I've
lot of
seen him go off.
politicians do
I've seen
that.
him go off. I saw his interview, some of his interviews. He was pretty
But Ken,
impressive.
he's never been. Who's challenged him? Has he ever been challenged? He only will go to friendly fire. He does not go into the lion's den anywhere and face any tough questioning from any.
Well, if there's a debate, he'll
I
be
would agree.
question.
He
So we'll
is
see.
going to, and I'm interested to see how he responds, and therefore what happens with his support at that point in time.
Yeah, I don't think his support's going anywhere. Just like Donald Trump, I think he's got a base. Donald Trump's got a base. This is going to be decided by the 10 to 20% of the undecided. I think mostly independent women, moderate women, and if they aren't offended by any of this and they come in and vote for him, he can win. If they stay home, I don't think they'll necessarily vote for Susan Collins, but if they stay home, he loses. Simple. I think it's as
Yeah,
simple.
and it's how much, I turned on the TV the other day and whatever streaming platform I was going to, the first thing out of the gate was a Graham Platner commercial. And it was some woman talking about Graham has changed. He realized he made some mistakes and Graham has changed.
Although I like the
That's
other commercial about Graham Platner. I'd never vote for him. He's a disgusting, despicable. Those I find it so hard to believe those ad people think, but they seem to work, I guess. So
television.
who's gonna win the who's gonna be the nominee for the Democrats at the end? And why does it take so long to do this count?
Ken, you've led me to what I want to be my next topic here, and that is voting and the mess we have made of the voting process in this country. Do you remember back in the day, you and I were both around, the first, say, presidential election you voted in was 1972?
1972. I stayed in
Okay.
line. Well, I was in Michigan when the voting
Right.
machines broke, and I
Right.
was in line for 2 days to vote against Richard Nixon.
All right. The first
After he
election.
was declared victor, by the way.
Right. The first election I voted in was 1978, but the first presidential election was 1980, Carter Reagan. Did we wait
No,
until weeks after the? No. What did we do back then? We went and voted the same day. There was none of this pre-voting bullshit going on. We have fucked up a very simplified process and made a clusterfuck of it with voting weeks beforehand, mail-in ballots, with this, that, and every other thing, ranked choice voting. We have fucked up this whole thing. I have a friend of mine had a great saying, you could fuck up a wet dream. Well, that's exactly what's going on here. We have fucked up
France.
a wet dream. We are what, a week? We're days out from the election. We don't know jack
Well,
shit.
California takes 2 weeks.
Did it take 2 weeks for California to count the votes in McGovern Nixon in 72? No.
Yeah, see, you're talking about primaries instead of general elections, which is a little different.
No, I'm talking. I don't care what it is. It was never like this. It does not need to be.
That doesn't bother me. I think primaries are stupid anyway. I like open primary. I like California's open
But
primary.
still, primaries, generals, it doesn't matter. We have totally screwed it up to the point where there are so many ways for it to be fallible. It's unbelievable.
Well, I don't know why there's not a computer program that simply can't do the counting at the same time. I mean, I'm not technologically astute, but can't you just kind of put them in and say, okay, let's put them in a second time and get the second vote? How hard is that?
I don't know. I voted in Waterville at Thomas College, and don't even get me started on that. But I voted on a paper ballot, filled in my ovals, put it in machine. I would presume it gets counted that way, but I don't know what goes on. All I know is what we do now. The whole voting process is a complete
With my
joke.
hand, it's a count by the hand now.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. Well, we whatever it is, I don't care if we use a goddamn abacus, whatever it took or takes to go back to the way we used to do it, and we get the results. And you go to bed at night, you know who won the
all
election.
right. So
We
let
don't
me
have that.
ask you, who's going to be the Democratic nominee in your opinion?
I think it's going to be Hannah Pingree.
But she's 5 percentage points behind. That's not easy.
I don't know.
Although, no, I think by the way, I think you're right. And let me tell you why. I think that the triad, the Shenabellos, Troy Jackson, and Hannah, I don't think anybody cares what they thought, but I think the three of them are very similar. So I would think if you voted for Shenna or Troy, your second or third choice was going to be Hannah. I don't think anybody's second choice was Shaw, right? I think Shaw got his first place votes and then he's done. I mean, who votes for Hannah and then their second choice is Shaw? I mean, how much sense does that make, right?
I don't
So
know.
I do think she gets the bulk of Shenna's votes and the bulk of Troy's votes, and I think she will be the nominee. And I think she'll clock Bobby Charles, but that's just me.
Yeah, well,
Oh, wait
I
a
think
minute. What do you about her mother? Do you think she's going to win re-election?
can you name the guy who's running against her? Who
Somebody
won the
ran
Republican
against her?
primary? Yeah, no. Who will be running against her as the? I can't even
No
remember who it was.
clue. No.
So moving off the
Yeah.
election trail and moving to the prisons of the state of Maine, where Eliot Cutler now resides in in the Crowbar Hotel now. A man who was is the sole reason that Paul LePage was elected governor the first time, and maybe the second time too, has been arrested now for his sixth time. A Penobscot County jail official confirmed that Cutler was there yesterday, but declined to disclose the charges. It wasn't jaywalking, I can tell you that. According to the jail's online inmate search, he was booked around 2 p.m. for violating his probation. Guess who his attorney is? You'll never guess.
I thought Walt McKee was his.
It's Walt. Walt defends every goddamn
Hey, Walt,
scumbag in the
listen,
state of Maine, and he's
Walt,
great at it.
he is a great.
If I ever
If I
get in
was
trouble,
charged,
Ken, and you're not around, I'm calling Walt
no,
McKee.
I don't do criminal. You
I
call
know.
Walt because Walt is the best criminal attorney out there. Period. End.
Okay, so obviously Elliot can't stop watching kitty porn on the
Well,
computer.
you know what? No, wait. Let me stop you there. He's not allowed to watch adult pornography either. Now, let me ask
Right.
you a question.
I'm sorry.
I know this sounds ridiculous, but I get kitty porn bad. And if you get convicted, you should have. But why is he prohibited from watching adult
I
pornography?
don't know.
Does that make any sense? And I
I,
guess the theory is if you're watching adult pornography,
yeah, you could lead you over. But why we're at 6 times now. I don't know. Is it eight
because
times you're out? Why what part of the criminal justice system is failing us here, Ken? Is it a
well, because
joke?
when you violate probation, you just have the rest of the original sentence reinstated. You're
But
not.
they've not even done that.
I know, and I don't know why. But what's really sad is that a human being cannot overcome this compulsion. And we know the recidivism rate in for kiddie porn and for sexual assaults of children is like 95%. It's not curable. You know what the solution is, because we discussed this castration, and even that doesn't necessarily stop the compulsion.
Throw them on the Ken and Mike Island.
There you go. There you go. How come nobody has
We
ever,
we solved this problem 15 years ago, Ken.
we have islands in Maine.
The Ken and Mike Island.
Let them have at each other.
That's right. They
You
can
know?
bang each other in the
It's
seat all night long.
exactly right. Let them out there. I'm cool with that. All right, bud. The weekend looks delicious
All
weather-wise.
right. Before we go,
Yeah.
do you know what happened 10 years ago, 2 days ago? June 10th, 2016.
Is that the day you got fired?
That is the day you lost me as a partner. 10
A
years.
day that will live in infamy.
The anniversary was Wednesday, and I remember it like it was yesterday
And I want to
And
congratulate Ed Christian. I don't care if he rests in peace or not, frankly,
Bob Adams.
and Bob Adams for taking the number 1 rated show, the only AM station in the United States that had the number 1 show in its market,
Let's
and deciding to fire half of it.
let's totally
Way to
fuck it
go.
up.
I know.
Let's take I texted our former boss and the man who hired both of us, Kerry Pahigian, yesterday to remind him of that day. And Kerry once again made the analogy of we created the dynasty New England Patriots and they turned them it into the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Exactly. I mean, and I like Matt. Matt and I did not have the chemistry you and I had, but we did okay because we had established, our audience didn't leave in its entirety, although they probably should have. But we didn't have the numbers you and I had. But I mean, that's why are they even on?
Yeah,
Seriously.
I still always asked what the end game was with us. I mean, I know you hung around what another year before Adam
Well,
shook
I
hand
would have.
you.
You know what? I hung on until I was old enough to get Medicare because the health insurance was really good.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to pay for it. And so, and then they fired me. So, because
Yeah, and it's amazingly enough, in a career of 45 years in radio, it's the only time I've been fired, and it
wow,
was at what I still feel is the best job I've ever had in the business. I love what I do now, but I loved for a different reason what we had together,
great.
and I look back on it now, and I still can't believe that they decided, we need to go in another direction here.
And I love that when I got fired, the next week, Bob Adams got fired.
I know.
And who's the woman
Randy
who,
Kirschbaum.
yeah,
Randy,
who was in the room when I got fired and goes, we
right,
got escorted out,
right.
No, no. I said, look, guys, let me come on Monday and say goodbye. Oh, no, no, no,
No,
no, no.
can't let that happen.
There's a 7-second delay, people. I can't really say anything. I left books there. My computer, I never got back on the computer.
Yeah, I
Nothing.
did manage to get my stuff back,
I
but
never
it
got
took,
my stuff
yeah,
back. My
I
stuff
got
was just sitting there.
my stuff back because I had to go back in and sign some Cobra papers
Yeah.
a few weeks later, and
And they
I was
let you in? Wow.
I was able to sneak back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so 10 years ago this week was
Good
the end
work,
of
Ed.
the
Good work,
WGA.
Ed.
So here we are back and bigger and better than ever.
Exactly right. All right, my friend. Have a great weekend. And I'm glad we got this in this week. And I'll see you next week.
Over and out.